Do you want financial freedom? That's obviously what you're asking, so I hope so. Well, if you do, that's exactly what I'm gonna talk about, how to get it in this episode today. All right, so do you want financial freedom? Now, I don't know many people that say no to this question, so obviously I think you do. I think the real question you're probably asking is, how do you get it, right? Well, I wanna go into this in this video today because I know that for you, that could be something that's not often taught, but can be achievable if you do something that's opposite of what most people on YouTube would actually tell you to do. So check this out. All right, so you're wanting financial freedom. At least I assume you do. The real question is what is financial freedom to you? How do you define that? Because here's the thing, I like to quote Mark Twain. He says, I can get people whatever they want. I just can't find anybody who knows what they want, right? And it's so true. When people say they want financial freedom, what does that really mean? What does that really look like for you? Like if you were financially free, maybe you believe it's possible, maybe you don't believe it's possible. But if it were possible, what would it look like? What would it feel like every day? What would you be doing? Does it mean that you wake up every day and you're like, man, I don't have to worry about paying bills ever? It doesn't mean you don't have bills. You just know you have more than enough money in the account to keep paying your bills. Maybe it's on auto draft, so you don't have to think about it, and it just does it for you, right? Now that seems pretty amazing. I wouldn't recommend turning your brain off completely to your money because that's how people lose money. But that sounds pretty awesome, doesn't it, right? Maybe you're just in the place where you feel like you are paycheck to paycheck. Every day you're just working and slaving away. You're working a job. Maybe you like it, maybe you hate it. You know, maybe you're like me. Like I remember working a job that was like doing smile and dial, right? Like I was doing outbound calls at one point. And I remember I would have nightmares the night before about this job. And then I'd wake up and realize, oh, it was just a nightmare. It was just a dream. And then I realized my alarm was going off to wake me up to go to that nightmare in about a half an hour to an hour. And maybe you have that, maybe you feel like you have that kind of life. Maybe you just want escape. You want that freedom from that, right? You want to get away from it. Maybe you're doing great in life, but you're just like, yeah, but how do I really achieve that financial freedom? How do I get to the place? Because I get a lot of clients that they have great money. And some will even say, hey, I'm worth $2 million, $3 million, but I can't stop working right now. Like I'm still trapped because I have no income coming in other than my job. And my job pays me really well, but I'm just trapped in it. I can't do anything like else but this. And if I stop working, if I try to go on vacation, I realize I'm not getting paid. And maybe they're like, oh, I actually do get paid on vacation, but still, if I lose this job or I lose this career, I lose this business, I've got nothing. I'm just as broke as everybody else. I got real estate friends that have multi-million-dollar businesses that still aren't financially free to them because they know if that business shuts down, we get another, global pandemic or something like that, they realize they're probably hosed. They're probably gonna have to lay off everybody, including themselves, and then they're just as broke as the person next door. And that's the thing, is that we want financial freedom because we want options. To me, that's what financial freedom is. I have options. I have flexibility. I know if this goes wrong, I have an option. If this goes right, I have an option. If I decide to change my mind in the future, because guess what? Like every other human, I have the right to change my mind like you do, right? Like we have the ability to say, you know what? I used to want this, but now I want this. This is the kind of life I want. To me, financial freedom means I can get that. To me, it's where money is no longer the reason or excuse that I do or did not do anything. It's knowing I have enough money to pay my bills. I become work optional, where I just work like I do right now. I work because I want to, not because I have to. That is financial freedom. It's not just being able to pay my bills, in my opinion. It's being able to pay my bills and do the stuff that I want to do the stuff that I love, and not say, I can't afford it. And so you're probably wondering, like, is that what I want? Like, is that how I get financial freedom? What is that? How is that possible? I will tell you this. I used to be a financial advisor, and the thing that got me to quit being a financial advisor after 4 years in that industry was when I realized this one key point, is that when I was asked how many of my clients were financially free, even the ones that had decades of prior help from other financial advisors, which ones of them were financially free? I would find out none of them, because they all worried about money. Even if they were retired, they weren't financially free because they were worried about, what if I live too long? I gotta make sure I pull off as little of this money as possible so that I don't run out of money. It's kind of like a squirrel saving up for winter, trying to get all those nuts piled into that little tree, right? And you're like, I gotta save up these nuts, but what if the winter's extra long? Well, then I gotta get some more nuts, right? And you hope you don't starve in that winter of retirement. And that's exactly the kind of thing that I've watched people do when I was a financial advisor. I couldn't find any of our clients that were really truly financially free. Even worse, I couldn't find a financial advisor. Even the ones that have been doing that for like 30 plus years, they weren't financially free either. And so if a financial advisor who's supposed to know all this stuff can't become financially free, which I used to be, why would I want to go down that path? So I started doing my own journey. I started looking for those people that actually were financially free, which is what got me in 2006 finding the real estate industry. And I don't mean like real estate agent and things like that, although you can make good money there too, but real estate investing. And more specifically, as I started to realize, it was about passive investing, right? How can I not be the one that's doing all the work? Because you can become a real estate investor, make millions of dollars, but you could be working full-time or overtime hours doing that. Yes, you'll make a sick amount of income, way more than you might work with your job, but once again, you're still trapped until it becomes passive income, until you know that you're literally in a place where you work because you want to, not because you have to. And the way to do that, of course, is to be able to have that money to take it to create passive income. Just so you know, at our website, moneyripples.com, we actually have a passive income calculator. You can find out how to actually create that much passive income in the next 12 months, however much it would be in your current situation. But when I look at that, again, that financial freedom, it's to be able to have more than enough money to pay my bills and then some. So number one, you want financial freedom? One, you gotta know, how much am I spending every month, right? How much is going out of my life every month? I need to have enough passive income to at least meet that, to what I call is called financial independence, right? Financial independence means you can at least pay your bills. Financial freedom means you can pay your bills plus enjoy more the better things in life too. So the real question is this: do you want financial freedom? I will promise you this: if you follow traditional financial advice, if you go try to put your money away in mutual funds and IRAs and 401ks, I don't care if you get the company match or not, they suck, because 401ks suck in comparison with the performance of it compared to the stock market. But even if you do that kind of stuff, it will not get you financial freedom. My clients proved it wrong in that case. Even my own father, who was penny pinching saver, paid off all of his debt and stuffed money in his 401k, still in his 60s, could not retire. He had to work into his 70s before he was forced into retirement due to health reasons, and still worried about stretching out his money his whole life. That stuff does not work. But what has worked is what I've seen in the alternative investments. Thing that's more Main Street investing, not Wall Street investing. Wall Street investing is gambling. Main Street investing is real investing, the oldest kind of investing there is. That's where people did buy and sell land and homes and things like that. That's where people went and invested in each other and businesses and things like that. That has been continuing for generations upon generations. The stock market, teeny time in comparison. Main Street investing is the way to go, specifically if you do it right, where you can invest it in those people that are active investors. I can lend out my money and make 10, 11, 12% or more a year on my money and not do anything. I have a partnership with guys that buy and sell raw land that I put a little over $500,000 into, that's paying off $13,000 a month. Guys, I make over $170,000 a year from that investment that was just about $500,000. Most of the time, if I put money in a mutual fund at $500,000 or an IRA, I would tell my clients, you can only pull off 3% a year, because that's the new number, not 4, 3%. They're pulling off $15,000 a year versus me literally making almost $15,000 a month doing that same thing. Alternative investments have a whole new world you can do. That's where there's freedom. That's how I was able to retire twice by the time I was 39. Once when I was 28, and then the second time after the recession hit and kicked my butt, because I got a little bit overconfident in my investing. I made some bad choices, had to dig out of a debt hole, do it again in 2016, and I've been able to be financially free ever since then, constantly growing my cash flow month after month, year after year. That's possible for you as well. But the thing is, you gotta reject most of everything you see here on YouTube, most everything you find on Google, because it's always the big financial companies saying, put your money with us and we'll invest it for you. We take no risk, but you'll take all the risk for us. And yeah, you might lose money in the market, but you might make it too. Yeah, screw that. Go in places that actually have worked, that have created tens of millions of American millionaires still to this day and have kept them there growing their wealth. That's been in things like real estate. Yes, business is great, but real estate is awesome when you're trying to create passive investments. That's where you can do that. If you haven't figured that out by now, subscribe to this YouTube channel, subscribe to us at Money Ripples, because we got a lot of other videos here talking about just what that is and how you can do it. Be sure to subscribe right now.